everybody, this is Bill. I thought I'd do something a little different for the trading roundup this week. Since it was a holiday week and trading was kind of screwy. I get a lot of questions about the system, which I haven't gone over in quite a long time, so I thought I'd go through that. So it's really pretty simple. Part of it is just standard stuff that you can get in the trading platform. So I use Thinkorswim, which is a company that's now was purchased by Ameritrade a couple of years ago. I use their software to do the trading. I trade futures. I mostly trade the Euro future in these videos. I trade some other things, but for the sake of the videos, I use the Euro futures. And I have the screen broken up into 4 areas. I've got this area over here, which is kind of my profitability area. This area here, which is my mega trend. This area here, which is my macro trend. And this area here, which is my micro trend. So I'm what's called the trend trader. I break up time into smaller pieces. So if you think of it like you're in an outer space and you're zooming in on the Earth from outer space, so the farthest away that I am is the mega trend, and that's the daily trend. I always trade in the direction of the daily trend. Okay, and today the trend is up, so I'm looking at longs. The next step so this is step 1. The next step that I do is step 2, which is once I'm in a trade, I look at this screen, which is the macro screen, and this is part of my proprietary software. These lines here are called dynamic profit pivots. That is my software, and that tells me where price is likely to go and where price is likely to do a reversal at. So if I was evaluating a long trade here, I would say there's a lot of room between where the price is at now to the nearest profit pivot line. Then I would probably take that trade. That's how that works. So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is the microtrend, and in the microtrend, we're basically looking for a couple of things. The first thing we want to do is which way is it trending? And right now, the price is trending to the downside. I'm in a long trade from way back earlier. I've been kind of screwing around testing things today. So I was in this trade when it was still an uptrend earlier. But when the bars are orange, the price is trending down. When the bars are purple, the price is trending up. So what I do is I look for an entry in the microtrend, and it's usually signified by the nano signal, which is this little arrow. So I look for little longs in which to go long on, and I ignore the red ones, which are shorts. When if the mega trend is long, I ignore the shorts. Okay, does that make sense? If the mega trend is short, I ignore the longs, and vice versa. So that's how I make the trade selections. Now I have some other things on the page here that help me figure out if it's a good trade or not. There's a volume profile chart here. That's what all these blue dots and these green bars are. What a volume profile does is it shows you the price point at which there's a lot of volume happening. Normally volume comes up from the bottom like this on a chart, but in a volume profile chart it comes in from the left to the right. So when I see a big bar paint, lots of green, that means there's a lot of orders right in this area. And right in the middle of that is a blue dotted line. That ends up being called the point of control line. And what the point of control line is like, think of it like a magnet. Price will occasionally wander away from it, but it almost always comes back, right, like a magnet to the point of control line. And then there's a couple of parameters outside of the point of control, like this little red line is a standard deviation. There's another green one that you can't see. It's a little bit lower in this particular chart. And then last but not least, I have the precision entry tool. This can be used to trade all by itself. With the precision entry tool, what that looks for is explosions in volume and momentum. This is also my proprietary software. So for example, the precision entry tool fired right here when prices were right here. So you could catch this little run to the downside. That would have been a short, which coincides with this little run here in the yellow. Whenever price breaks outside of the band, the lower band is a short, the upper band is long. Okay, that's how the precision entry signal works. Also, if you think of the precision entry tool as a overall indicator of price direction. And if you look at it, it kind of looks like a highway, okay? So here's how you read this. If the dots in the middle, like the dashes in a road, are orange, price has a bias to the downside, okay? If the dots in the middle are purple, price has bias to the upside. So just by looking at this line, I instantly know that right away price is biased to the downside. I would be better off probably screwing around with shorts than I would with longs right now. But like I said, I'm testing something, so I'm experimenting with something that's called a counter trend trade, where you trade against the obvious trend. So right lane, shorts, left lane, longs. That's basically, if you can think of it that simply, that's the way to do it. And then the lane in the middle tells you kind of which direction it's leaning. So right now it's leaning down. A little earlier it was leaning up. That's where I got in from this long over here. So I've been screwing around with that. And that's pretty much it. So it's really 1 from a mega trend, zoom in a little, 2 macro trend, 3 micro trend, make your trade selection, then select where you're going to go to for your profit target. A lot of times I will select the point of control line if it's nearby. Like right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting for price to come back up there before I take my profits. Or you can go on the profit pivot chart, the macro chart, and look for the nearest either profit pivot line or Keltner channel and set that as your profit target. That almost works 100% of the time. All right, I hope that helped. That's what my system's all about. That's the trading roundup for this week. I will be back next week when we have a full week of trading and show you what happened. Okay? Later.